Hi everyone, welcome to Primetime TV. I'm Barbara Marvel, and coming up is Women Unscripted, and that it is today, so stick around.
Other things coming up.
You do have other things coming up.
Barbara, pay attention.
Oh, that's right. Well, maybe I did that on purpose because I was hoping we would roll right into the show. Welcome in, everyone. Totally unscripted, because that's what our show is all about. Right. It's Women Unscripted. We don't plan exactly what we're going to be talking about, but the one thing that we can all promise you is that you will enjoy the show. You will glean a little something from our inspiration, our motivation. We love to laugh, and there's been a few times that we cry too, but it's all unscripted. Today, there's only 3 of us. Cher, I know you're out there and you're taking it easy, I hope. We miss you. There's nothing like having Cher Kistler keeping us all on track with our cards and notes and things like that. But Cher had a cardiac event last week, and she's doing very well. She's okay and all that, but it's time for her to just, you know, sit back and take care. She'll be back with us next month. But
Maura is taking her place today.
I am channeling
and
Sharon
tell us
today.
why Maura is taking Cher's place.
All right, this is called the Women Unscripted Show. And I've
She's
always
calm
liked
right
to know
now.
what's happening, right? I do, but I could play a back role when Sharon's
Yeah,
here, because
exactly.
Sharon makes sure we are scripted before we start the show.
Exactly.
Sharon is not here today, and there's nobody asking the question, what are we discussing? What are the main topics? Nobody's asking. So who do you think has to step up to Sharon's plate? I do.
So how are you gonna,
what kind of an answer do I get
so
when
how are
I'm
you going to
scripted?
do? Well, I have all kinds of answers that I can give. But how did you want to start the show with talking about something special?
I can if you want.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Because we did talk about this, right?
We did. We actually
did. You sent me an email. You said, well, what if we talk about a couple of things on how we're all doing in certain areas in our life experience? Because the overall umbrella of Primetime TV show is what we're doing in our prime time, how we're spending it, how we're happy, you know, how we're dealing with different things in life, crisis, drama, all that kind of thing. Everything that you're all dealing with. And I tell you, this show has taken off with like gangbusters. It's been so exciting to get all the likes and the views on a regular basis, because we're doing this for not only our own sanity, but for yours as well. So Maura brought up a couple of things that I thought was excellent a few weeks ago, and even though it's unscripted, sort of, kind of, I really loved what you said about, you know, what you're doing and how you jump into what you're doing. Maura is known as the ambassador of happiness, and I have to tell you, this gal travels all around the world, spreading happiness, spreading joy, and really bringing the best out of others.
I do. Yeah, I do, because I believe there's a better world. It's just, it's out there somewhere, and it's my job to find it.
I know. Hey, they say if it's going to be, it's up to me, right?
Yes, I heard you say that earlier.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you know what? I wanted to say another thing about this show. This show is real. The fact that it's unscripted may make me a little uncomfortable, but it's so real in the sense that, you know, people need to see us even before the show starts, because there's so much fun and there's so much reality going on, but it's all for good, and it's genuine. And so anyway, getting back to what you were mentioning, last week I had this surge. I write all the time about what it takes to be happy from the inside out. That is my blogging, it's my podcast, it's my e-course, and I was growing more and more aware that people are getting agitated, nervous, appended, unraveling, because life as they used to know it continues to change. And in fact, it's changing at more rapid paces. And I think a lot of people are so unnerved that they're anxious, they're fearful, and something came to mind, something called a happiness reset. And it goes right back to what I said. You know, a lot of times we could look at the world and think, oh my gosh, this is happening and that's happening and the world is falling apart. What do I do? Sometimes we want to scream, we want to get angry, we want to act out. And I thought, you know what, it's time for a happiness reset. So last week I was interviewed on an NBC affiliate here in Tampa Bay.
Channel 10.
I think it's 8. It was 8.
Oh,
it's the daytime show.
The daytime show, yes.
Okay.
And that's going to air when?
Thursday of this
coming
week.
Thursday.
Yes.
So you'll have to watch it.
And I just happened to write, and I said, with what's going on in the news right now, I said, would you be interested in a segment on a happiness reset? Well, within, I think I said, press send. And one of the producers wrote back, and she said, what is it that you mean? And I said, well, it's an idea of how do we take happiness and self-possession and put it back where it belongs with us, rather than always feeling like we're on the merry-go-round of life, especially where that merry-go-round is going places we don't like,
right,
and that make us feel uncomfortable.
Right.
And it could be in anything. You know, there are people that are worried about politics, people that are worried about terrorism, you name it. It could be local, it could be national.
No.
Well, that too. But think about this. Most of the time in life, we expect the world to fix itself for us.
Yeah, but
we
it's
look
not
to
up to the
leaders.
world.
Exactly
It's
my point.
up to us, each and every one of us, to do our part. Give me a high five on that, girlfriend.
Give me another one.
Yeah. How about
Okay.
fist bump?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the whole thing. We need to take ownership, and we don't learn this in school. Or sometimes our parents don't teach it to us. How do we keep ourselves happy from the inside when the world around us is a little shaky? So I came up with 3 things, 3 tips.
Good. I want to
First
hear
one.
'em.
Do share.
Focus. What are we focusing in on? Are we focusing on the problem? Are we worried about the latest news report? Did something happen? Did a report come out that has totally turned off our day? Or do we say, wait a minute, let me gain control of myself and think about what I'm focusing in on? Because what we choose to focus in on determines where we are. You're going to say something.
Well, that's because we allow it to. So
And we choose to.
We choose.
It's our choice
and we
to do
allow
that.
it. So when we do that, what happens? Not only do we get out of focus and we get in our unhappy place, but we give our power away, don't we? We give the power to whatever that is that we've allowed to step into our head and take control. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is, you know, I've worked all these years to try to stay in my own God-given power. And why would I give it to NBC, and nothing against NBC News, but to a news channel? Why would I give it to someone who flipped me off on the road? You know what I mean? If I allow myself to do that, then shame on me. Shame on me.
Well, you know, it's true, and a lot of times we don't know what's happening to other people. What they're doing the best they can with what they have to work with, and that is one of the things that I've had to learn over the years. In fact, I just said that to my husband this morning. He says, "You've been a little bit different in the last few days," and I'm going, "Oh, what does that mean?" Because I live a life unscripted. But
we hadn't noticed, Barbara.
But he says, you seem to be able to handle some of these events and different things. And you know, honestly, what happens is an event that sort of, it doesn't really set you back, but it awakens you. It's like, well, you know, share. I was at the gym the other day doing 5 miles on the bike like there was no tomorrow because I wanted to get my cardio up. So things pull you into that, you're screeching on your brakes like, wait a minute, this is a game changer. I need to take a look at this. And without living in what if land, but we have the choice to take a negative and turn it into a positive. And that's what we call, it's a positive negative. That's what you've done with resetting your happiness meter, more or less.
Yes.
But don't you think that, I mean, there are a lot of people who would get that news about a friend and it would crash their life.
Right.
I mean, instead of going to the gym and working out to get their cardio up, they would go to bed and pull the covers over their head. Would they not? And
I know someone that used to do that.
Not me. If that's
Not me, but I did.
Well, many years ago, maybe, yeah. But it's so true how and there again, that's a choice.
Yes.
It's a choice. She went to the gym. I mean, yesterday I had been this like couch potato all day long, and I'm not saying, you know, I did it because of Cher, but thank you, Cher. You know, I went and got in the pool, and it was like, you know, I could veg out the rest of my day, or I have a choice. You know, I could go out and get a little exercise.
It's these little wake-up calls that trigger something, and we just kind of sit back, and if we haven't learned how to sit back, take the time for ourselves to focus and take a look at the situation at hand. I mean, I call it, look at it and look at yourself as if you're looking through the lens of a camera. And believe me, when you do that and take some time and just kind of look at yourself and focus in on yourself, and what is your happiness meter? Is it going through the roof, or is it way down low here flatlining? Because that can make a big difference. What Maura has done is she's put the balance. I mean, she took that and embraced it and has found out, and we have a break coming up already. You're going to have to hold off on those other 2 points.
Well,
we're going to take that break. Oh, we have 5 minutes. Okay, good. You got time to say,
yes,
in the 5 minutes, I want to hear
was just going to say, but what you both said is absolutely right. You're speaking about personal empowerment. You do not give your power away to another when your emotions are calling you to go away. You are saying that you, instead of being a victim of bad news or news that, let's say, challenges you, you take it as an opportunity to refocus, maybe reorient your thoughts and or your behaviors.
Exactly.
And I always think about, are we a victim or are we beneficiaries? And when it comes to focus, if we're not feeling right, if we're feeling like we're pressed under, then we're feeling and identifying with a victim. But we can turn that around and refocus on something empowering, something positive. And that's the
Do you have other tips on how to refocus?
I do, but we have 2 other points in my house. I'm very scripted here. I have 2 other points to make, but yes.
Well, I think we should stay on focus for the rest of our 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Oftentimes, I know with myself, I could get caught up with things like dust. Think about this. One small thing, and I actually wrote a blog about this.
No, we have to talk with her.
I'm busy one day in my room having coffee, and I'm concentrating on the dust well, I needed to dust in my room.
Okay.
That's all I could see.
Okay, Maura.
I lost track of the fact that outside, beyond that, was such a gorgeous day. The birds were chirping, the sun was out, it was warm, it was inviting. My thoughts were going right to the dust. Now, I want you to think that's almost like a parable of sorts, because I'm looking at something so tiny, and I'm getting consumed by the fact that, oh, I have to clean those blinds again.
And you wanted to be out with the nature and the birds. I know you did.
But also, look at that myopic attitude. So what is it? You pull yourself back and say, wait a minute, this is not making me feel good. I feel disempowered. I am not happy. I'm frustrated. What am I missing that's good? What should I be focusing in on? All of a sudden, I'm looking, they were the slats. And I looked through and I thought,
now I really get it.
Yes.
The dust on the slats,
right.
That'll
you
do
know.
it.
See, but then I'm thinking, what's right beyond that dust? What is beyond the place that's disempowering me? It is a brand new day that is so beautiful. This is why I moved to Florida. And it was like night and day. It was darkness and light for me. One was making me feel I have more work to do that's so mundane. And the other was, what a gorgeous day I live in. Now, we can apply that to anything. Sometimes somebody can do something to you on your way to work.
Yep.
Somebody could just look at you the wrong way.
Yep.
And you could live with that thought in your head, and it could ruin your whole day.
And allow it
or
to,
you could turn it around
exactly.
and say, what should I be focusing in on today that brightens my mood? And when our mood is brightened, you know what happens? It brightens everybody else around us.
Absolutely.
We have the power to change the world around us.
No, it's true, because I was having little moments after I beat myself up at the gym the other day doing 5 miles. Thank you, Cher. Love you. But I did. So today, I could barely move my lower back, right? So I was a little cranky. I do get cranky once in a while. So this one comes bouncing in here like just a bowl of laughter and joy, and just change the energy all the way around.
But I felt that way about you.
Oh,
I think we must do that when we are in one another's company.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Well,
I think that's what.
We're sharing joy, fun, and laughter. At least we're not getting on each other's nerves, right?
No, think
With
about
drama.
No, that's right.
Drama.
This is so wonderful for me to be together, even if we were not on TV. Actually, we have a lot of fun before the camera starts. But there is something about being in one another's company that's so uplifting. It's so joyful, so happy, and then we're always sharing good thoughts.
That's right.
And really, when you want to get back to focus, I don't know if we're done with the 5 minutes yet, what are the things you could focus on that make you feel light and airy? What are those things that make you feel empowered? What are those things that remove the sense of heaviness or limitation in your life and turn things around, and suddenly you feel like you have freedom, You have choices to make. You have venues you can follow. That's focus. And it's interesting. It can be one way or the other. You could focus on what's bad or focus on what's good. Focus on what's negative or focus on what's positive. Focus on giving away your power or returning yourself to power. And sometimes having a negative focus could be just that thing that moves you on to say, like you said, it's a little wake-up call. Wait a minute, I need to retrain myself.
Yes, yes.
That's a happiness reset one.
And it is. It really is, because we do have that choice to make those changes. So it's just, you know, I mean, already in the first segment, I'm sure everybody watching today has picked up on a few little tidbits. You know what? We're all human. We all have those days where we do feel disempowered. But the reason why we're able to regroup and recharge ourselves, reboot, and revisit that happiness meter and get it so that it's on a high level is because we have arrived in our life experience. And that was the purpose of doing this show, is sharing what does that mean when we have arrived. And you know what? For us, we're all different age groups, and we all know when we have arisen to that particular area of consciousness. But there's also another group of women that are younger than we are that have also arrived at a very, very young age that I've been discovering as of late, in the 20s. So a lot of them are getting the bad raps for being millennials and they're all this and they're all that. I'm going to have a segment coming up here in the next couple of months that's going to be on the younger unscripted women, and they will be millennials. And I'm so proud to say that, because you know what? For us, it's taken us a little while to get over some of the bumps. Some it takes longer. Some never arrive, and that's really sad because they don't know what direction to go. And I think we have a few answers that we like to share that has actually worked. So we're going to go ahead and take that break right now. When we come back, we are going to share so much more with you, including Cher. I know you're out there watching. Mwah! We love you.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
is that. It's awesome. Hi, everybody. Welcome back into Primetime TV Show. Our special edition is Women Unscripted. I'm very excited to have my wonderful dear friends, Helena Trengata and Maura Sweeney, who are really two key people, 2 out of 3 out of a lot of other women. But you guys, this show was so organically conceived. And with Cher Kistler, who's not with us today, but she'll be back with us next month, all of you have played such a great, important part in my life, and you, of course, named the show. I didn't even know that didn't even know what happened.
Referencing the woman that you are.
That was so funny. And when you said I was a woman unscripted, you did not know that I was waiting to do a women's show, but I just didn't have a name that would fit what my criteria was, so to speak, for being unscripted. So I thank both of you. And of course, Tink, I call her Tinkerbella because she flutters around in the neighborhood with her happiness and joy and rocking babies. You rocked babies today, didn't you?
I did rock babies today.
You did? Was there a lot of them?
There were 6.
6 of them.
Yeah, and one of them, I brought y'all to tears last time, so I will say today that one of them were being adopted. The adopted parents were there, and they were just joyful watching them as a young couple. And one feeding the mom would do, and the next feeding dad would do. This is their first baby, and she said probably our last. And it was a delight to watch them. And they had driven 13 hours to get here to get this baby, and the doctor was telling them, you know, you have to go see a pediatrician within 2 days after discharge. She goes, we'll do it, whatever you want, we'll do it. You know, she said, we'll just stay here. They were going to go back, and we'll stay here for 2 days so we can see the pediatrician that you refer us to. So you just knew that that baby was going to be so loved. And so, you know, it was joyful.
I know. Just to give you guys a little bit of overview of what Helena's doing on Monday mornings, right? Is it every other Monday morning?
Every Monday morning.
Why don't you tell everybody, because I just think this is so heartwarming.
I wanted to be a baby rocker at the hospital, and there was no NICU here in Pasco County. That's where we broadcast from. And recently, Medical Center of Trinity opened a NICU, which is a neonatal intensive care unit, and when babies are born needing that type of care, prior to this, they were actually sent to another hospital, like All Children's, which I also sit on the board of the Guild. So it was a wonderful gift to the county to have this NICU come into the county. And so babies that are there have some reason to be there. A normal birth does not go into the NICU, so they have a low birth weight, they have some type of infection or something that they've probably gotten from their mama, and we have what they call NAS babies, which are born because they're in the unit because mother was addicted to a drug. And so it's hard for them because the babies are born addicted, and then they have to be weaned off of whatever substance. And so they require a lot of cuddling, and that's what they call my position, a baby cuddler. And you just get attached. I mean, Barb said, how many have you brought home now? One day. Of course, I can't bring them home. They have to go through the whole system. But if they came in for some reason and said, you could just take that one home with you today, I will say, okay. Of course, my husband would be going, no.
But you know, this is a perfect example of why Helena is part of my show, because she has so much love to give. And believe me, she cuddles the community. Wherever she goes, you could just feel the energy around her. And she's such a good person, wholesome person that you can really trust, whether you're doing business with her or if you're a friend. And it makes a big difference. And
thank you.
Maura,
I know.
You need a cuddle.
Are you going to say something nice about me? I want to say something nice about Helena.
I was about to. We're unscripted.
Go ahead.
Well, you go too. No, you say something nice too.
All right, I missed the show when you were discussing this. I guess I was out of town. And when I hear what you're doing, and I could see and feel what you're sharing, sometimes in society, people think they have to have their name up in lights. They have to be YouTube famous, right?
I'm so
They
glad
have
you
to
said
have
that.
lots of money. They have to drive the best car. And if they don't, they think they don't measure up, or that their lives don't matter. I'm listening to you share this, and I'm thinking, imagine You may never say a word to these children, and these little babies aren't even going to understand anything. But do you realize how powerful that is to know they come out of the womb, some of them, as you said too, being addicted, or some of them being underweight, out of their mother's womb, and you are sharing love with them? That's an energy that has no words. That is life-changing.
You know,
life-changing.
And I will never know. You know, that's the thing. I'll never know what that little bit of time that they spent with me does, but I get more from them than I could possibly give them, and it's just a miracle. It's a miracle. Of course, any newborn is a miracle, but it's a miracle that I can just surround them with love, and I talk to them and I tell them they're beautiful, and I tell them, you know, like today one of them's mom was going to come feed her for lunch, so I tell her mommy's coming, and you know, and we some of them have been there too long, unfortunately, and we talk about them like, you know, how's my boyfriend today, we'll say, you know, and that type of thing, and it's just a blessing. It's a real blessing. And but I do want to say, you know, they've offered me another time to go in and cuddle these babies twice a week, and right now it's not in my schedule. And when we're talking about giving and refocusing, I wanted to just talk about the fact that we have to learn to say no to, because when I left there today, I thought, you know what, I could stay here all day long. and of course, I wouldn't get a thing done, and of course, there's no pay for it because it's a volunteer position, which is fine. It's just the fact that this has actually changed my life. If I could just take one more minute and say that I believe that God has given me pieces of the puzzle. And many of you know I sit on the PACE board, I sit on the Healthy Start Coalition board, I sit on All Children's board. All of these have been pieces of puzzle, and now this feels like it might be the final piece. And so what I want to do is I want to just raise awareness about how all of these pieces come together, and whether that's a book or speaking, I'm not even for sure, but I do know it's on my heart, and I know that God has placed it there for me to share these stories. Obviously, I'm not going to tell names, or, you know, I have a confidentiality agreement with the hospital, but it has to be told, because I don't think very many of us see the continuum of what's going on in our county and our state. Our state has one of the worst records in the entire nation for sexual trafficking, human trafficking, and drug addiction.
That's right.
So, I mean, the sheriff's doing their job, and, you know, a lot of people have to make this work. And I think that each of us, when I say each of us, it's easy to be a grandma and say, you know, it's not my problem. I don't have any kids in this system. I don't have any kids that are drug addicted, or I don't have this or that. The thing is, we all need to be a piece of this. We all need to be supporting these young women, the ones that may not be as wise as the ones you were talking about. We need to be supporting of that, and so that's my little soapbox for the day.
And when you told me that you were going to be doing this, it resonated with me a lot, because of knowing the heart connections and the science behind the heart connections, and they've actually done studies on how people feel in other people's heart vibration, right down into the gut. And when I thought, wow, you take a lot of time. It's like a half a day to do this. And what you're doing is you're getting back to source. You're getting right back to source with that love connection with this little baby that you didn't know before you started cradling it. And just, I mean, that has to be so rewarding for both of you. And yeah, maybe this little baby won't know ever.
He'll never know his angel Helena or his Aunt Helena.
But you're giving
it
it's a head start.
Yeah, don't you think that's true?
Yes,
I mean, I have to believe that's like a little building block I'm giving them.
Yes.
I need to add something. I'm listening on so many levels. And by the way, I want to take an unscripted cough. If you heard me like...
Unscripted cough.
I don't want to interrupt you. No, but look, do you hear everything you're talking about, Helena? What you are contributing, and I hope there are people today that are listening, because there's so many ways this can play out. You are taking something within you and sharing it with others. It may not have this fancy title, you're a cuddler. That goes through society, it goes through from one heart to another, and it helps to unite people.
Yes.
Rather than them coming into this world feeling isolated and they may not know why. or feeling victimized. They don't know why. You come in and you are a heart that links them up with love. You may not ever see these children when they grow up. They may not remember your name, but I would think at some point, at some deep level, they are remembering the connection you made with them. That is a connection with Source.
It is a connection.
If we could all take those things that are important to us, you said you're getting more out of this than the little babies are.
Yeah.
Because it's a both way. If we could find out those things that are important to us, those things that are calling us, and look what you did. You actually created something new. You're working to undo a societal ill that's here in this county.
Oh, amen.
What
Thank
can
you.
we
Thank
do
you.
individually and collectively
Yes.
to change the fabric of our society and to heal our society from the inside out? Again, not because it's, you know, on the topic of what do I look like, what am I dressing, what kind of a car am I driving, but what is within me as a gift that I can give to someone else? They're all different gifts, but each one of them, when used and implemented, I'm telling you, there would be so many social services we'd never need, so many taxes we wouldn't have to pay, and so many bills we wouldn't have to take care of if everyone just did what came naturally from the inside out.
Exactly, and I am, see why she's here, see why she's my dear friend. What you said, what you said is so true. We're going to take a brief little time out, and I'm going to expand on that when we come back, because what you said we are doing right here, right now, in and of this moment, whether we all realize it or not. One heart at a time, and that's what it's going to take, and we'll get there. It's up to our generation. We'll be right back.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
And welcome back in, everyone, to Primetime TV Show, our special edition of Women Unscripted. I'm Barbara Marvel Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us. And my co-hosts are Maura Sweeney and Helena Trangata. Women of many words, many songs, many just, I am all that in a bag of chips kind of a gal. Each one of you are. I'm so proud to have you on the show, on the set.
Well, thank you, Miss Bag of Chips.
We were just talking about what does it mean to have arrived, and I think we all, getting back to what we were talking about earlier, is that existence of where we feel confident enough to really give back. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Like
even though.
going through.
Yes.
Well, because
ups and downs.
when you started writing about happiness, did you think you were all that in a bag of chips?
No, and I think I still don't. I'm uncomfortable with that. When think about this, years ago, oh, so-and-so, they've arrived. It's like, okay, now I'm going to tell you everything. I never feel that way. I always feel like I'm learning and growing, but I also know, you were saying it took you however many years to get where you are right now.
You can say it, almost 70.
Okay,
Go ahead,
almost 70,
spit it out.
and I'm almost 60 years. That's a long time of practicing.
I know, but why does it have to be
how
that
do
way?
I live a happy life? It shouldn't be, which is why everybody needs to listen and learn quickly. That's why I write. It took me many, many decades to rethink the way I thought, to practice some new things. And I feel like if we can learn and glean from other people, we can make that trip a lot faster.
Absolutely, and
so
that's
I
what
don't
it's
think
about.
I've arrived necessarily, but I feel like I've attained a certain level of consciousness. Yes,
That's it.
that I could speak by experience and also know that experience behind me has yielded certain rewards. And I am all too happy to share anything I've learned with anyone that wants to hear.
Well, you know
or learn.
what? We haven't shared this story about you in a little while, but Maura has a great story on how she went down a completely different path, and it was a path that she did not really, it wasn't on her heart.
It was down the rabbit hole, let's face
So,
it.
yeah, it's a good thing you yanked yourself out of that rabbit hole. But you were going to go be an attorney, and then you were so done with that.
I was going to be an unhappy attorney.
Unhappy attorney.
You know, it's funny. 2 days ago, I was interviewed. I interview quite a lot on these talk shows, radio talk shows and podcast shows, and the guy was in England, and he said, and he was looking through my website. He said, I hope I don't insult you by telling you this. He said, but I was looking at your before and after picture. The before picture is me, 1982, in front of Mama Leone's in New York City, contemplating, can I live a life of 40 years as a New Jersey attorney? And the answer, of course, was no. He said, you're a little bit like Benjamin Button, Maura. He said, you looked older back in 1982 than you do now. He said, I hope you're not insulted. I said, not at all. And you know what it was for me?
See, happiness makes you younger.
That's it. It's it. There is a light that comes out of us when we can follow what's within us.
Yes.
And pursue it and give space to it and give place to it. But I have to laugh beyond that because it had gone live, this interview, and I'm listening and I thought, there I am again. It's the story of I was supposed to be a New Jersey lawyer. That very thing that was maybe my bane. Oh my gosh, my whole life, Maura's going to be a lawyer, and I didn't want it. It was like, resisting the plague. But it has become my catalyst for popularity.
See, I tell you,
I am now a beneficiary of going a route that wasn't good for me.
That's right.
I have a built-in story of what didn't work and my travels to find out what does work or what wasn't really empowering me or making me feel happier.
So doesn't that equal arriving? Isn't that
it's all in everybody's perception?
Yes, exactly.
It's a perception.
What I'm saying is, when you wrote your first article on happiness, you might have felt like, and I feel this way sometimes too, you're writing something and you're like, ooh, who am I to say that I'm an expert in that? Who am I to say,
exactly.
I don't have a PhD in that. Can I qualify
That's
to
a good
talk
point.
about that?
Right.
That's a very good point. What makes me the expert?
What makes any of us the expert? But you just said that you've got this many years
and
that you started in an unhappy career, and now look at you.
I'm truly happy. I think that's evident. Doesn't mean that I walk around on fairy dust all day.
No.
But I am.
Darn.
You can.
I was thinking about that.
I might have a funny thing for next time we're on. I may do something totally unscripted, Barbara. Next time we come on.
You mean you're not?
Put those wings on, I think.
I think the wings.
I think I might.
She's going to come flying in here, right? But
I think we all should come in with wings on.
Just before we took our break, you were saying, if each of us could do something, Maura, do you realize how many women are sitting out there right now going, oh, Mom and Dad wanted me to go to nursing school, or Mom and Dad wanted me to go be a lawyer, a doctor, or whatever. Is that on your heart? You know, I interviewed an attorney recently on one of our chamber shows, on My Chamber TV, and it started raising an awareness for people who have developed their careers later on in life. I started asking questions like, well, how were you as a little girl? And this attorney was Deborah, and she said, she says, I was always known as the debater.
There you go.
So it starts from when we're young. I mean,
well, and she didn't become an attorney right out of high school and college.
No,
she
but
waited
it was in
until
her.
It was
in
her.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was in her.
It was in her, and it's all we all have this passion in our heart, and that's what I love to embrace and wrap around that passion and help women find that passion. It's not a real easy thing to do, but once you recognize what is not your passion, like Maura, then the other is able to surface and come out, and when you can live a heart-centered life, your heart gives you all the answers. Regardless if you're in a career right now or a relationship right now, your heart knows whether it's good or not so good.
You're right. Oh, there's so much. You know, you could write volumes about that. You could write volumes about it. Now, here, when I was little, what I was reminded of is I really was not interested in law, but I was so taken up with two things: airplanes in the sky and meeting people everywhere around the world.
I love this story.
The other piece was that I was absolutely taken up with the typewriter in my grandfather, who's an attorney, in his legal secretary's office. I was watching this woman do formal documents that were being duplicated and triplicated, and I knew they were being officially put out there. And what does that speak of today? I'm a publisher, I'm a blogger, I'm a speaker. Things I'm doing are now out in the greater society, and they have some level of public knowledge or public approbation on them.
Exactly.
And just by, I didn't even tell you this, I am now the trademarked ambassador of happiness.
Oh,
imagine the one little more thing, put more around that.
One more little thing.
These were things I had as a little child.
See?
And everything I write about is when you're little, you know your passions, you know what you like. You don't have to be like anybody.
No.
When you realize what you love and you pursue that,
yes.
And it could be different from everybody else in your class,
right.
everybody else in your neighborhood, everybody else in your family. But when you give yourself space to do those things, you become, could I tell you what, this is funny, you know what you become? You become God's gift.
That's right.
You become God's gift. You
That's
become
right.
a gift to yourself. You become a gift to the community around you. Your giftings are shared around, and people get a chance to see a glimmer
Absolutely.
of God.
And
then
that's so true.
I'm on a roll now, Barbara.
Oh, wow.
All right. Then they also get this innate feeling that, wait a minute, I have some freedom in my own life to go and share my gifts and be a gift.
you.
I'm telling you, with what you started in that last segment, Helena, we can change society if each one of us would go with what's within and start to express it. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean the road is a straight road. We don't even know sometimes. But we keep following it. And I always say, follow your inner GPS. Do you feel like you're energized?
I call it the emotional compass.
Oh, see,
it's your emotional compass. When you develop that emotional compass, you develop your emotional IQ, your emotional intelligence. You are connected to the right hand of God. And I don't mean to get up on my pulpit here, but we are on a roll.
You're so smart. Now listen to this. You know when you say you connect with source, you connect with your emotional intelligence. Did you know at the end of last year I got so exhausted explaining to people what my philosophy is, and I really didn't want to be so much a one-on-one person. I've done that role, and it's draining for me. So I created a course, Foundations of Happiness, and it's self-study for emotional intelligence.
There you go.
It took me hundreds of hours, but you know what it is? It's the whole methodology. How do we find our gifts? How do we remember who we are? Who is our source? How do we connect with source?
And I think that's wonderful. And can I just interject, though?
Of course you can.
I think that the other part that we forget, though, sometimes is, and this is for me, it's like when we were kids. We talked a lot about when we were kids. We had a sense of community. We had we had a sense of community.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we did.
What's happened is with all the changes in our life, and we've become more mobile, and many of us don't have a sense. I don't even know half the people in my neighborhood. I really don't even know their first names. And I've developed a sense of community. I have my own tribe that that I support, and they support me, and I think, and that's wonderful. But I think sometimes we forget that we're connected, You talk about being connected at a heart level. So you just go back to, let me just pull back. Here's this grandma who's taking care of 4 children that her daughter had, or her daughters have, and you see her in the store, and you don't understand why she's counting pennies, or you don't understand why she's flipping out. You don't so that goes back to our sense of our community is to be just a little bit nicer, to be a little bit more of a connector, to be a little bit more, I mean, sometimes sharing the joy and the happiness can be little tiny bit, minute things.
Just even a smile can go a long way.
Or a hug, or
absolutely,
just a,
an acknowledgement.
Hold your thoughts, ladies. We're going to take a break.
I'm very good at taking direction.
I love you. Okay.
See that? She just was like, we'll be right back.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just 1 or 2 options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex. Short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Call it not
Debate?
No,
Debate?
not debate. What do we call it?
We're on again.
We're having a serious. What do they? What do they call when you're supposed to behave in school. And
Conduct.
Conduct. I failed every time I talked too much.
Me one, you talk too much.
But
No,
wait, you were
really.
preparing for a future career.
Oh, yeah, we were just talking about how what came to me, and I'm thinking, well, I really did talk a lot. My counselor called my mom almost every day that I can't get it together. I mean, my grades were okay, you know, but I talked too much. So I guess that was laying the groundwork, and I never stopped.
So and look, you're making a career out of talking today. I think it's great.
It is great. It is great. So we only have one more segment
to talk about the happiness reset. The first one we talked about was focus. The key, the underlying key is that happiness really is a personal choice, and it's taking everything that goes out there in the world and it's determining how we're going to respond to it.
Exactly.
So, the first happiness reset we said earlier was focus. Let's focus on things that are helpful and not
focus.
Right. Number 2 is forgiveness.
Oh, yes.
That's a word not everybody wants to hear. Like, how I'm supposed to get happy by forgiving when I don't want to forgive. Do you have anything to say about that?
Oh, I have a lot to say about that. That is definitely one of the biggest virtues that I personally had to learn in a number of ways, and it's part of my whole lights, camera, action thing, and that whole mastering your life from living a heart-centered life. Forgiveness is huge. And I'll be honest with you, I had a very difficult time with that, but once I did get a hold of it by bringing more love into my heart, it was able to come a little bit easier. And going back to what we said in the first segment, is people out there are doing the best they can with what they have to work with. Like you were saying about this grandmother. She's raising 4 of her grandkids. I mean, for heaven's sakes, give these people a break. But we don't know what the next door neighbor is going through.
That's
so
right.
we do the best we can. So
and
that,
you know, another.
And I think the other thing about the forgiveness thing is, you know, I mean, I don't think any of us had a perfect parenting, you know, and my parents are gone, and I love them to death, but I don't think they were perfect. I think that I was, that there were certain things that they did to me that were hurtful. They didn't do it to be hurtful.
Right.
They did it because they didn't know any better.
They didn't know any better.
So in my life, I've forgiven that.
Yes.
I've forgiven them. But I think that forgiveness for me is much like an onion, and the fact that you do it in layers. You know, you're like, okay, well, I'll forgive that, and then it'll come up again for me. It'll come up again, and then it's like I forgive to a deeper level. So that forgive and forget. Some people say, well, I'll forgive you, but I'll never forget it. Well, really, honestly and truly, I think at some point that we can get to that if we continue to forgive. And I think the other part of that is, you know, to just mention in this, we have to talk about gratitude, because of the fact that for me, gratitude is the basis of how I can get a mind readjustment. I can get to focus faster on gratitude than any way.
Absolutely.
And I always give credit to Oprah, because she started me on my first gratitude journal, and now I just, before I get out of bed in the morning, before my feet touch the floor, I'm in gratitude, and I'm, you know, everything, you know, it does, you know, obviously for being alive, for my husband still being alive, who's had some health challenges, for these little precious little babies, you know. I mean, you know,
can go on and on when you start with gratitude.
You can. For me,
you can go on and on.
I know exactly how you feel. For me, God was really gratitude for me, because when I found myself in a marriage that wasn't really going to go further, it was like, really, God, what? Okay, how can I get out of this funk that I'm in? And it was to find the goodness, finding the happiness, and being grateful for what I do have, which was my children, the rest of my family, and everything. And then I've been blessed with a husband today of, you know, 20 years, and so we only have 5 minutes, so I'm going to be quiet because we have one more point, which is really key.
All right, I want to do a little surround on this thing with forgiveness. When I said, oh, people don't like, what does that have to do with happiness? Sometimes we are unaware of the fact that we're not forgiving. It's awareness.
No, it's true.
Now, sometimes it's easy to identify the people we don't want to forgive, but sometimes those people we don't want to forgive include us. There may be something we did in our lives, we don't think I didn't do it well enough, and we hold that back. And one thing I learned a long time ago is that whether I don't forgive that person out there, or I don't forgive myself, or I don't forgive a circumstance, it all has the same effect. The more we forgive, the more we're offloading those things that keep us down, those things that keep our focus in the wrong place, those things that lift literally depress us. When we have unforgiveness, I've seen this with people. We put ourselves in chains. They're self-induced and self-maintained, but as we take off the layers one after another, and a lot of times it's just a choice to say, you know what, I don't want to hold this. This is not fun.
That's right.
Or I realize they've got their own issues.
Yeah.
You know, when I had my daughter, I remember in the hospital thinking, well, get ready for mistakes. And I remember the first thing I said to my daughters, I said, Kaylee, you know what? Mom and Dad, we love you dearly, but we're going to make mistakes. And I want you to know that. But we love you more than anything. So it's already out there. I'm going to make mistakes. And if I want to be forgiven as a parent,
hook ahead of time.
See, that's the difference.
I love that.
That's what the difference is. Boys will come back and say to you, "You're always screwed up there, Mom." And I'm like, I say to them the exact same thing we had said a while ago. It's like I did the best I could given the circumstances of that time period.
Yes. And I'm telling you, our vision can be so obscured when we have an unforgiveness we're even unaware of, or that we're just so hurt that we can't get past it. But boy, oh boy, forgiveness, and the quick way out of forgiveness is just to turn to gratitude. And then suddenly we could find some of our most difficult challenges or difficult people as the means for bringing us up and out of where we've been. So no matter how you play it, it's good. You ready for number 3? Because we're probably running out of time.
3 minutes.
It's the best. Okay.
This is the best.
If we don't like, forgive. Number 3 in the happiness reset is another F. It's fun.
It is fun. It is fun.
F it all.
I don't believe you said that. Oh my goodness, Tinker Bella!
I'm sorry, but it just can't.
It's okay. No, it's okay.
I know.
It's
I played right into
it. It is. Because you know what? I said that to my husband just this morning. I was going, because I said he was noticing a little bit of a change because I just want to live my life with fun, happiness, and all the things that I've worked on all these years and be like him and master it all. And you know what? That is the way. Having the fun, doing the forgiveness. It sounds like it's an easy thing to do.
For some of it, it's not. I was so serious for years and years.
Yeah,
every
me
one
too.
of these little, Barbara, come on now.
And
you were not
no,
serious.
seriously, and living in what if land. Oh, we could go on for another couple of hours here. We really could.
Well,
but next time we're going to continue on with all this. But it reminds me of the story of the lotus. I'm going to close the show with this because we do have all these choices. Just like the lotus flower has a choice to either stay in the mud, all ugly and not really growing, or it makes the choice by nature through God's universal laws to come up through the water, rise on the top of the water, and open up into an amazing, beautiful, beautiful flower that freshly unfurls those petals. And if you take a look at your life as if you were a lotus coming from the mud, there's a lot of us that have been there, and we've emerged into a beautiful, blooming white flower. And remember, white is the symbol of unconditional love. And think about that. And think about all these petals, and look at those petals as if they are virtues that maybe you want to work on in your life. Because you know what? You'll get there. I promise you that if you make the choice. Life is all full of choices, right?
Barbara, that was so beautiful.
Wasn't that?
That was so beautiful.
Unscripted, you guys brought
We're gonna stick around this topic being unscripted. It works.
I know it does.
You
work.
probably didn't plan on that, did you?
I didn't. It was just inspired, and in my own coaching and sharing little metaphors and stuff like that, it just all came together. I smell something that's cooking. Are we close to a restaurant around here? That was unscripted. Can you smell it?
No.
Oh my goodness.
But it is dinner
Kids
time.
are probably taking a break. That's right. And we're already past happy hour.
But we're happy.
We're happy.
And we're having fun.
Yes.
We're having fun.
Well, thank you for sharing your reset. And I just challenge people. Are we still on the air?
We are. We got another minute.
I just challenge people to hit the reset button.
That's right.
I feel like that so many of us are stuck in that mud.
Yeah.
And so how do you get unstuck?
Yeah.
It's really your job to get unstuck,
It's
is
all
it not?
I want to say it's really ultimately all your job.
is.
But
It
when
is.
you do it, you're so empowered. And you don't have to go back to those old places. And each little step takes you
Absolutely.
a little further.
And what each of you girls have said, what I've shared with you, I hope that you've gleaned just even one little tidbit today, because that's what our Women Unscripted show is about. It's about what Primetime is all about. When my husband comes out and we talk about all the different things that we're doing to help society and do our part, one heart at a time. So hopefully you've enjoyed our Women Unscripted. Let's see, tomorrow I'm going to be doing My Chamber TV, and we have Upper Tampa who's going to be joining me, and then we didn't even talk about my HSN reunion yesterday. Oh my goodness, we'll be talking about that on June 20th. We're going to be doing an HSN Memory Lane show, and Cher Kistler, I know you're out there watching, relaxing.
This kiss is for you, baby.
Mwah! We love you, and we'll see you next month. Thanks for joining us on Primetime and Women Unscripted.